The Entrepreneurial Hour is a weekly radio talk show hosted by Stephanie Cates and Robert Gultz that includes local South Florida business owners, subject matter experts, and industry leaders that recognize the need to share their knowledge with other businesses to help them start and grow their business. Join us Tuesday mornings, 10:30 to 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, online at Radio Unilatina USA. Follow us on social media at #The Entrepreneurial Hour.
Good morning. My name is Stephanie Cates, and it's really nice to be back here again. I am with my partner in crime, Robert Gultz, my partner in business, Claudia Mosley, and my partner in life, Dave Cates. So welcome all of you. And today's topic is going to be merchant services. Hello, Robert. How are you?
Hello, Stephanie. You know what? Stephanie was so funny. She took the summer off, came back for one show with me, and then was out again.
Yeah.
And so...
I had to have some medical things taken care of, but I'm doing better.
I was going to take it personally, but then I got over it really quick. So glad everybody's here. Great topic to talk about, and we've got a great show in store for everybody today on merchant processing services and the aspect of getting some information to help your business grow and prosper in today's time and day and age. So again, Stephanie, I've missed you, and I got so many things going on, and I even get to share them with your husband.
Congratulations! I understand you have won some awards. Tell us about it, please.
I just won the award from the Florida Association of Chamber Professionals, their Executive of the Year. So
congratulations!
Happy about that. Surprised.
Robert Gultz. Yes.
There's so many great people in the state of Florida that I was very surprised to receive it, and very honored and humbled all at the same time. So I'm excited about things.
Did you use the word humble?
I was humble. It doesn't happen that often, It doesn't happen that often. But when I look at my colleagues, I say, "Wow, you guys are a little bit better than me in certain areas." And part of me just wanted to go na 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 and run off just before they took it away from me.
Exactly, before they recounted and found out it was a pregnant Chad or something.
That's why I moved to Broward.
Ouch.
So let's go ahead and start talking.
Yes. So today, Claudia, who's been in the business for eons, although she's a baby, I swear, and I've only been in the business now, actually going on 13 years. And merchant services is it's my business. I teach here, but I also have a business with Claudia and my husband. And, merchant services is something that every business needs. But I have to tell you, when they put that sign on the door that says no solicitation, it's for us. It really is because they're so full of liars and cheats and people who get into this industry to see what's in it for me. And Merchant Processing Solution, and the reason I'm with them is because it's win-win. And if it's not win-win, then it doesn't happen. And so that's what I like about this company. In saying that, we are subject matter experts. Claudia is huge on educating our customers, our merchants, so that they understand. And, we get merchants that, they get the little dollar dangled over here and they jump ship for a while. 80-90% of them come back within a year or so. And so it's not again, today's show is about not us rah-rahing ourselves, but just educating people, whether they're starting a business or open or have one, what they have to look for and understanding.
Well, one of the great things that also says a lot about what you just said was you're not dangling dollars for people. And a good business doesn't have to have tricks to get the business and keep the business. And you know what? I'm excited because we've been working together with you guys, and many of our members utilize your service.
Yes.
And they always say the same thing. Stephanie knows her stuff.
I know what you were going to say.
I
know that too. Okay.
Yeah. Knows her stuff. She's there to answer the questions, and that's why we have you here on today's show, just to talk about this. So let's talk about so everybody out there understands what merchant processing services is to begin with, because some people are probably going, what are they talking about? And the thing is, everybody uses one sort or another every single day.
And they just don't know about it. They call it something different.
Correct. Yeah. So we'll start off with that.
Okay, that's a great question. Merchant services is something that everybody needs. And every business owner that needs to obtain payment using credit cards, Visa, MasterCard, Discover, American Express, they need a merchant services company. Now, the difference of merchant services company, because there's a lot of setups, is that a lot of people think that by going into your bank, that's how you're going to solve your merchant services, and they don't realize that the bank are not processors. They in fact have to hire companies like ours to subsidize the merchant services. So at that point, then the bank becomes the middleman because they're not the actual processor. So anybody that is accepting payments, whether it is with a POS system or with a standalone terminal or with mobile technology, e-commerce account, they need a company like ours to process their payments. So that's what merchant services is.
Right. Merchant services, again, if I were to take my credit card and go to the chamber, for example, and make a payment on something, you would take that and you would put it into a machine or swipe it on your whatever. What happens then is somebody in the background, Visa, MasterCard, Discover, approves that. But then somebody puts that money into your bank account. Guess what? The machine that did the approving was ours, and the people that put the money in the bank is us. We do that. Then what happens is that then the credit card company goes to Stephanie and says, okay, you gave Robert in the chamber $100. Now it comes and it's on your credit card. So the process is the brands Visa, MasterCard, Discover, American Express, they run the whole approval network, but we don't. They don't run us. We get to make the decision of what we want to make. However, they set the wholesale rate. So, for example, if I were to buy this water bottle right here at wholesale from the manufacturer, it's what, 2 cents? 5 cents? I don't know. The plastic, the paper, 5 cents.
And just so our audience knows, it's a Zephyr Hills Florida spring water, not just any bottled water, Zephyr Hills. They
Only the best at Unilatina, okay? Only the best.
They can pay me later for that little shot.
So if you go in there, and just so that people know, everybody has a business. If you're reselling something, you have a wholesale price, you maybe buy it at a distributor price, but then you have your price that you need to earn. That's the only thing that the processor controls. When Claudia mentioned the bank has employees that are getting a stipend every time they open an account, or they have reps out there, or they've hired a third party like us. So the third party needs to receive their piece of the pie, and the bank needs to get their piece because they're paying some. So the more middlemen you have, the more it goes up. Yamilet and Claudia are so good. They've been doing this since 2006. They have relationships. Well, tell them who we have. I mean, and I don't mean that we're third party. We directly process with several banks like a broker would, finding the best company that meets your needs. So explain how that works.
Okay, so we're very proud in what we do, because from the minute that we started doing business, it was all about relationships. So we have clients that are being with us since we started our business in 2006. So in a merchant services environment, it's very unlikely for you to find a portfolio so strong. And that is because of the, number one, transparency. Number two, the customer service level that we give. And number three is, how do you alleviate a problem? Because every time that we encounter a merchant, our main goal is to alleviate the problem, consolidate everything, because there's many people out there that will give a retail store 2 accounts. Let's say that a retail store also sells online, and they force them to open 2 accounts. That it's so unofficial, because when you have 2 accounts, you have to pay your PCI compliance twice. You have dues that you have to be monthly fees.
You have duplicate fees.
With us, we can give live to any portals, even 5, 6, 7, out of 1 account.
And this isn't just us, but it's the right thing to do. And this is why we're trying to say the difference between ourselves and many other people is they'll take a brand new business and say, well, what are you looking to set up? Well, I want a website. Okay, that's one account. And I'm going to have a brick and mortar. Well, that's another one. Are you going to send mobile people? Oh, that's another. Oh, cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. Right off the bat, they're looking at $60 a month that they're going to bring in, 20 per account, and then sometimes annual fees and other things. So when you look at a processor, you have to figure out where are they in the pecking order? How close are they to Visa and MasterCard and Discover? Have they been approved? I mean, you had to go through scrutiny even to be an approved reseller of that.
Oh, and every year we do. We have, in order to be an ISO, you have to...
and an ISO is what?
It's an independent sales of Visa, MasterCard, Discover, and American Express.
So that's what I like about what you guys do. So tell me, because there's so many different ways, and you kind of just hinted to it. One of the things that I like and that I've seen is when you've gone in and met with a company, you ask them a bunch of questions, and you're asking those questions to find out exactly what's available, because I know for years people didn't know that they could take stuff over the web, or by phone now and things of that nature. So how about if can we just go through the list of all the different ways someone can use a merchant process service now in today's age?
You want to start with that, Claudia?
Yeah, the main question that we ask when we encounter a merchant is, how is you set up today? How is it working for you today? What is the improvements that you want to see in your process for merchant services?
Or why are you calling us? What's the pain that they're experiencing if they're already in existing? I think that's what the pain point.
And also, we do a lot of nonprofit organization. And I want to talk about that because nonprofits are viewed as a high risk because the card is not present, but really is not, because who's going to charge back a donation that you gave to a nonprofit organization? Number one. Number two, they have so many portals. Like I said, they have so many accounts that they make them open an account for mobile, an account for internet, an account for your standalone terminals. So when we come in, my first question to a nonprofit is, okay, what is your goal? Is it savings? Let me look at your statement. When I ask for a statement, is because I want to see what type of cards are processing through their statement, to do an analysis, because a lot of them, like I said, they're priced as high risk, which means that they don't put them directly in an interchange program.
I don't think we've explained interchange yet.
Okay. But they don't put them in a wholesale rate. They put them in a tier. Or, in a bundle rate, which is very expensive. They start at 2.05, for example. And those are for cards that are qualified that the cost is 0.05. So now 2% that company is making already. So what we come back and I ask for statement is because I want to show the client to convert that data as a regular bundle rate that they have, and how we will look as an interchange plus with our company. So it's only also to show them the transparency they're going to have on the rate, but also to show them how much money they're going to save, how much money that's going to go back to the organization. And because we work
Keep going.
with so many nonprofits, for us it's very important that they profit from those donations. So we have programs especially for nonprofits. We have programs for quick service restaurants, for different type of niche markets out there.
Excellent. So we're going into our first break, and then we're going to come back. I want to talk a little bit more about
types of
service, but also why your type of service compared to others, so our viewers know a little bit the different ways to get paid. But with that, we'll take a couple minutes break, and we'll be back with the Entrepreneurial Hour.
The Entrepreneurial Hour with Stephanie Cates and Robert Gold.
International College with a campus in Miramar, Florida, is a boutique college with an applied, cutting-edge, holistic education model. Business, tourism, and communication students not only develop their field intellectual skills, but also are empowered to become holistic professionals through yoga, self-empowerment, Tai Chi courses, and more. Sign up to become a holistic professional at unilatina.edu or call 954-607-4344.
UniLatina International College offers an English as a second language program for international students. UIC's high-qualified ESL teachers help students develop and master the English speaking and comprehension skills needed for both work and pleasure. Our ESL program also focuses on cultural adaptation through fun-filled trips and cultural experiences. Start your journey today at unilatina.edu/ESL or call 954-607-4344.
The Entrepreneurial Hour, shining light on the Tri-Chamber members.
All right, we're back. I wanted to talk a little bit about businesses because a lot of the small businesses out there say cash is king or checks, things of that nature. And there's a big difference, especially with nonprofits. I know because I deal with a lot of nonprofits, and they'll go, oh, well, we don't want to lose fees and things of that nature. And they don't realize the cost that really they are losing, because typically if a nonprofit or a business is dealing with cash and checks only, there's times that you have to process the cash and checks. There's time that you have to go to the bank. You have to reconcile all that crazy stuff. So let's talk a little bit about what's a good point for a small business to make that decision to go to merchant processing. I already know my view of it, but I want to get the professional's view of it.
Well, as a business owner, your goal is to increase your sales, so to increase your donations. And right now, and nowadays, I don't even carry cash with me. Everything that I pay is with a credit card. And that's the model of everybody. In fact, now everybody has their credit cards in their phone, and you know, this is the era that we're living right now. So, for a business owner to not, or an organization, not to accept payments with credit cards, they're leaving a big amount of percentage of income in the table.
And it's not that. It's not. The situation is the following. I have a website, but I'm having an event. So the people go, and then at the last minute they're available. They show up, and there's no way. And then they're like, just write down my credit card and put it on there. And then because they wrote it down and they key entered, they paid 0.30 or 1/3% more because it was key entered instead of swiping it through a mobile device. What I'm trying to say here is that there's got to be an understanding that I'm not walking around at 2:00 in the afternoon thinking to donate. I get home, open a piece of paper, and it says go to my website or download our app, and here you can go ahead and donate. My church has gone to donate on the app. I walk in, it says don't forget to donate. We pick up our phone, we go in, and we do it. I don't have to go home, log into a website and do it. I actually, there's now so many more ways for a non-profit to actually collect more money. And when you think about it, first of all, merchant services is tax deductible. Okay. Number two, if you're getting 20% more money coming in, it's going to take off that 1 or 2% that you're paying for merchant services. I think there's two reasons. I've never seen such a cash-driven area. I've lived in Colorado, and I think I've mentioned this before on some of the shows. This area is very cash, and I can't help but think it has to do a little bit with the Hispanic influence we have. I think a lot of places there, they grew up and their society was not dependent on the credit card, credit, those checks. And then we have a senior environment that if you're over 75 or 80, you still write a check for everything. So those two kind of still have a presence in South Florida. And I'm kind of thinking maybe that has a reason why down here, if you're relying on the Hispanic, they want to do cash. They want to receive cash and do cash. If you're relying on the senior, they're going to pay you with the check because they don't know how to go online. You know. So to answer your question, if you really want to grow your nonprofit business, you need to sit down with someone like Claudia or myself. Tell us, what your vision is and how can we help you grow that vision so that when you have an event, you're prepared to take right there, right then, as much money as possible. Because once they're gone, once they see those children, once they hear the event, I mean, we were at an event recently where one of the victims of Parkland was there. He'd been shot saving his friends. If they had had money, our credit cards there, we would have just been given thousands of dollars right there for their but nobody did. Nobody had a thing there.
And it's funny because even, as we know, I sell Girl Scout cookies during the month of January and February.
Too.
And so we started, the troops started to also use a scanner for cards, and again, it works great. It's just hard these days to see people. Most people don't carry cash. I know I don't. The only time I have cash in my pocket is if I traveled because I need to pay the tolls and stuff like that. It's the only time I go to the bank to take out money.
Once a month, my husband and I take out $40 each, and I don't know, sometimes at the end of the month it's still sitting there. Yeah. Other days, the next day it's gone for some reason.
Every time I have cash in my pocket, I always I need to get rid of it.
You know, I'm not making this political at all, but I remember a speech about credit card processing and how our past president was going to make changes, and he guaranteed that within 4 or 5 years everybody would be carrying cash again and paying in cash. And I was like, what was he smoking?
Well, yeah.
Because I do not see the economy going in that direction at all.
So let's talk about security a little bit with credit cards compared to carrying cash. You know, I get mugged out there cash. My cash isn't coming back. Same thing with someone taking my checks. I have to go through a whole lengthy process with my bank to get to get the money back from those checks. Let's talk about credit cards. Tell me the differences there, because there are definitely some differences that you can make impact on very quickly when something goes wrong.
We have two types of credit cards out there. One is a credit card, kind of like your Capital One card or your American Express card. Those have actually really great backup. Like if you would alert them to a possible fraud or whatever, they'll fight for you, and they'll go back in and they will actually refund that money. So you've got protection there. So if somebody, steals your wallet, your purse, breaks into your car while you were at the gym, by the way, don't leave your stuff inside your car when you're at the gym. People know that. Here in Weston, they got broken into in Country Isles. So what I'm saying is that being alert about where your stuff is very important. But if it goes and they took your credit card, you've got a lot of resources. You can almost just immediately call and you'll be fine. Your debit card is something different. And people like Dave Ramsey say, pay everything with credit card. Don't own a credit card, debit card. And I'm sitting there going, wait a minute. They get my credit card. They got my bank account. They got everything. I mean, they could walk in and the sky's the limit. They could ruin my ID, my everything. Because there's no protectionism against your debit card being used and just, okay, I'm going to take you put a limit of $400 or $500 a day. Well, if you were away and left it home and you were gone for 3 days, well, there's $1,500. And guess what? The bank's not going to, my son lost $8,000 because of a debit card being stolen. Wow. So what I'm saying to you, at the end of the day, leave your credit card in a debit card in a secure area and use a credit card that's going to have a limit to it. Now it's how I feel.
Yeah. And now that you said that, I mean, even in the debit cards, I do see that the banks are actually getting more savvy to give protection to the clients as well.
But they're not still at the same level as the credit cards.
Not at the same level, but the industry itself have done so much. When the whole PCI compliance came in, PCI compliance is nothing more than like an audit that Visa, MasterCard came to do and to force the merchants to do, so that they know how the merchant are processing credit cards, what the equipment that they have, and they ran scans to see how protected your firewall is, so that hackers don't come and steal your information. Now, when the merchant does that every year. They're supposed to do this questionnaire. It's more like a reminder to the merchant that you're not supposed to store credit card information in your computers. You're not supposed to leave credit card information for all of your employees
in a drawer.
You know, it was more to educate the consumer about the risk of credit cards and the risk of fraud. And so right now, you know, if Visa and MasterCard has a way to find out if a merchant was the security was compromised, and if it was the fault of the merchant is going to have to pay thousands of dollars.
I'm glad we're talking about the merchant and not the individual right now, because I'm horrible with my cards. I treat them like the old time cash, where it's all bundled up and I just throw them and lay them around all over the place. So yeah, I'm like, just wait. I shouldn't even be saying this on the radio because someone's going to walk by my office and take everything I got.
Let's call Angie, tell her to put a protection guard outside your door.
There's some definitely protections using the credit card. So I want to talk a little bit when we come back. There's a bunch of things I want to talk about, myths, and also some other things. But before that, the new move to the chip.
Okay.
I want to talk a little bit about that, because most
we can do that
people
pretty briefly.
Don't understand that aspect of why they should have and why they got it to begin with.
So the chip was implemented in Europe and Asia, everywhere except the United States, pretty much. South America, they've had the chip for close to 15 years now. And it basically took fraud from, let's say if it's 80% of fraud potential, down to less than 40% within the first 3 to 5 years. But the first problem, the hurdle that we had to overcome between the time we first introduced in 13, 14, to when the deadline hit October 2017, was that every merchant had to have a terminal. See, this is only for retail customers at this moment, okay? So you had to have a terminal that would read a chip. And people were being taken advantage of, like, oh, yeah, bought that terminal, but it's not going to work anymore. So, again, companies like ours, but not ours, obviously, we're saying, oh, yeah, it's going to cost you $900 for a $200 terminal. Mm-hmm. And they didn't realize, and they felt gypped, so I'm not doing it. It's just another ploy. Why? Because our industry is people are so skeptical about everything they hear that they didn't believe it. They didn't do it, and today somebody comes in and uses a fake card or uses a stolen card and charges $500, let's say, at your auto repair shop. And you were sure that there was a scam and you didn't need that new machine. When I find out that somebody used it, I do a chargeback, because it was my card that was used to pay for some, bad guy's car. And you have no recourse. The bank goes in there and takes it because you were not PCI or chip compliant. Just because you're not chip compliant, you have no recourse against any chargeback, regardless of the reason for the chargeback. And we explain that to every customer, and we still run into customers.
And the most important part of the chip is that it throws a code. When you introduce the card, it throws a code that matches to the information of your credit card. So that's the difference, that if you go and clone a car, you're not going to have the chip, obviously, and then the card is not, the transaction is not going to get, it's going to get declined because you didn't throw the pin.
It's kind of like a tokenization, like what PayPal or Samsung, all of those do. They go out and they send a RF, but like a handshake to the credit card company, and it comes back with a token, or tokenization. That is what says that card's valid, it's good, go ahead. Well, they don't get that. If they don't see that, the credit card company didn't see that happened.
Yeah, you can't even fight a chargeback.
Right.
Okay. So when we come back, we're going to talk about some myths about using credit cards and things of that nature. I think we started off great by finding out about the card, the chip in the card, because I would dare say there's probably still a lot of vendors out there not with the chip there. So we'll be right back with the Entrepreneurial Hour in just a few moments.
Unilatina International College, with campus in Miramar, Florida, is a boutique college with an applied, cutting-edge, holistic education model. Business, tourism, and communication students not only develop their field intellectual skills, but are also empowered to become holistic professionals and human beings through yoga, self-empowerment, holistic human development courses, and more. Sign up to become a holistic professional at unilatina.edu or call 954-607-4344.
The Entrepreneurial Hour, shining light on the Tri-Chamber members.
Unilatina International College with campus in Miramar, Florida is a boutique college with focus on entrepreneurship. UIC offers associate and bachelor degree programs in business, tourism, and communications and media. Associate degree students develop their business plan while studying at UIC. Dream, learn, and grow. Join now our business incubator. Learn more at unilatina.edu or call 954-607-4344.
We're back. All right. So let's talk about a couple of the myths. We talked about the chip, how important that chip is for all of our restaurants and all of our vendors out there to have, and that's going to keep you safe from getting your money or to
Keep it. Yes.
So that's really important. So let's talk about this, because I'm seeing more signs like this popping up all over the place, and I want your guys' knowledge about this. You cannot use your credit card if it's under $5.
Yeah. You know that there's actually a $10,000 penalty if you get reported to Visa?
That's what I thought.
Yeah, it's illegal. If you sign an agreement to sell Visa, MasterCard, Discover, American Express, in there it says you cannot discriminate on the size of that offer.
Yeah, because I'm seeing it more and more these past couple of weeks, the little sign up there, and I'm like going, dude, that's not right. You have to take these cards. And I laugh because I'm one of these bad persons that uses a credit card all the time. And so 79 cents for that soda at 7-Eleven, and they never question me. I think they always wait for me to ask for more money. I'm like, oh, no, I just want the soda. But then I've had restaurants that I go to for buying a sandwich for $5, and it's $4.98, and the waitress goes, sorry, sir, we can't take your card. And I'm like, oh, no, you have to take my card.
I have Visa on speed dial. All I have to do is report you, and you won't be able to take credit cards from anybody for 7 years.
So that's a big one, especially with the small mom and pop.
Yeah,
are doing that.
And
a lot.
I noticed that a lot of the Asian restaurants, the Asian businesses, like nail salons and massage places, they're very much saying they'll put that sign very brazenly there.
So that was one of the first ones. Tell me a couple of the other things that you guys see out there that are myths that people truly believe. Now, I'm going to ask you one more, because I think this is the most hilarious piece, because I see small businesses do this all the time. Oh, I'm doing, what's it called? The little white, the square. I'm doing the square, and it's better for my business.
And it may be. Wait, Claudia, you explain that.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to tell you what I recommend Square for some merchants. Square is an aggregator. So you're not opening a merchant account. You open an account with Square.
Which you get into a pool. By an aggregator, she means that they put a whole bunch of people with a certain type of risk in the same pool. So that's why they can hold your money for up to 7 weeks. They can cancel it. They can never pay you back. They can charge you back whenever they want
and you never get a real person to talk to. Everything is done online. So that's number one. Number two, for example, I recommend this type of accounts for somebody that is like a hair, they sell fashion jewelry, and they don't have any the volume is only $1,000 a month or $2,000 a month. It's not enough value to justify the fact that when you have a merchant account, you have to pay your PCI compliance. The cost is $79, but there's companies out there charging $300 for the PCI compliance. The monthly fees. Now, if you need a gateway, the gateway fee, when you go with Square, is 2.75%
if you swipe.
Right. If you don't swipe, if it's key enter, it's 3.50 and 15 cents. So it's very expensive. Now, when I encounter an account that is using Square and they're doing $30,000, $20,000, $10,000 a month,
we're like
it
dancing the whole way.
Because when I show them the difference between that 2.75% versus our wholesale rate, plus, I have merchants that have a effective rate of 1.99%.
Okay.
You know, it depends the environment and what type of business it is. It is possible to get that lower rate when you're in a wholesale rate. So obviously, why would you get Square when you can have a person? And at that level of business, the IRS is going to haunt you because you don't get the reports. Because now it's been 2 years.
Oh, more than that.
3
Almost
years?
3-4 years.
3-4
yeah.
years.
That
That
we
now the IRS is forcing us to send monthly reports to the IRS about the merchant services. So that's another thing. I mean, in this industry, there has been a lot of changes. Not only with security, but also with the IRS.
And so you're saying $10,000 should be, or
No, 3,000 and under, you can go to a Square.
okay, 3,000 is, but anything over
PayPal.
3,000, really consider going to a merchant.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this next question.
Well, let me just tell you one on the bad side. If you get a chargeback, having a Square, your money's gone. There's no recourse for you. Done.
Okay.
They're going to ask you, did you get a picture of the person's license? Did you get a picture of the front and back of the credit card used? Did you get a picture of the guy? Well, can you imagine if you're going to buy, I don't know, a $100 thing, and I say, can I have your credit card? And I'm taking a picture. You're like, whoa, what are you doing?
Yeah.
I know. If you're going to do that, that's a risk for you to do it, even if you weren't going to steal from them.
Gotcha.
So there was something that was done by 60 Minutes, I want to say 2 or 3 years ago, where they showed a group of guys all blurred out. They went to a indoor marketplace. They had a map, and they just walked around first, and then they met in an hour. They put X's on everybody with Square. They went in and bought with bad cards, came out, got in their car, and then pawned it all off. And every one of those people had thousands of dollars taken from them that day, and they had no recourse. So if you're willing to lose, now, we tell our customers, right? You know, you're selling coffee for $4.99. Square's what you want? Fine. You're selling, but if you're making beaded jewelry selling for $500, and that was your heart and soul. We had a lady did a king size hand quilted quilt, and she sold it for $375 on a Saturday. By Tuesday it was charged back. She never saw her money again.
Wow.
That's when she decided, you know what, I spend too much time and heartache to save myself a few dollars.
So let's go on to the next thing that I see with Square. A lot of people are charging the processing fee also. Is that illegal? Because I know in New Jersey, when you use a credit card, they had to have a different price for non-credit card and credit card if there was a different price.
At the gas stations, they have to let you know that, yes.
What about regular vendors?
So, may I? I tell my customers, and I've always said that, what's your value, Robert? Your value is, let's say, 5 cents. No.
There we go. That's
No.
inflated.
Let's say that your value is $10. Of this thing is valued at $10. Is that really the only cost you have for it? No, you have your storage, your shipping and handling. What about accepting payment for it? Isn't that part of the cost of doing? So take your 2% or whatever you believe is your average and add it to it. And now you sell that product to everybody for the same price. Now, if I come to you and say, can I get a discount for cash? And you choose to accept that, you can choose to take a discount for cash. What you cannot do is say, Dave, if you pay me cash, this is $10. If you pay me with a credit card, it's $13. Visa? I got a name for you.
So it is illegal to be doing those markups.
It is, but I've seen a lot
Girl
of
Scouts, are you listening? My Girl Scout troop did that, and I was paying the difference.
I've seen a lot of ISOs that are doing it right now, and they call it a discount program, and they convince the merchants that you can do it, and that at the time of the transaction you can charge 3-4% to that transaction, and it comes out in the receipt. Now imagine you go into your nail salon or your hair salon or a restaurant, and on top of the fact that you know that you give 20%, or at least I do, 20% on tip, now you're going to show me that I have to pay 4% for you to process my credit card? Like, how is that going to
Not only that, but 4% is like usury.
Yeah.
I mean, because if I'm
And to me,
swiping
it should be in
it's
the
like
price.
1% or less.
I agree. It should be just in the price automatically. You just say, hey, this is the price.
Yeah.
And make life easier. The more you put that shock aspect, the less you're going to get. Because I had that when the Girl Scouts were selling their cookies, and they were like going, oh, it's $4.28 or 68 cents per box. And the guy goes, where's that 68? If I bought cash, and I'm like, here, just don't worry about it. I got it covered.
Yeah, I think I heard another troop did that. One father used his Square or something just to be able to get the sales done, and then he handed the value and whatever came out of his credit card, he just paid it and took it as a donation to the Girl Scouts.
Yeah, so for me, it's just put it in there for any business. Put the charges in there, and you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah. One of the other things that you need to remember when you're working, this isn't just Square. Like I said, we've got PayPal does exactly the same thing. People love PayPal because they think that there's no... But PayPal, Square, you do get your money the next day, but you also could lose it the following day and not see it for many, many months. PayPal, though, they have a couple of programs, and if you pay for a program where you see it within 2 days, it's like $30 a month. And if you want it, if you want it to sit in a PayPal account, you want to get paid, and it sits in your PayPal account, then you have to go in there and make sure you transfer it. And of course, that's a secondary. But how many times has PayPal been breached, those accounts? 3 in the past 18 months. So the question is, where do you want your money to be? I still feel a mattress is the best. No, we have it in a bank.
And that's what you want merchant services to do.
Stephanie, you have yours on offshore banking, isn't it, though? I thought you said real security.
Yes, it's in a hotel bed in the Caymans. No, it's not.
So let me ask you a couple more questions. I hope I don't forget them. When we're talking about the credit cards, also today's day and age, I am still seeing, and I have businesses that are still sending out forms with, here, give me your credit card information.
A lot of nonprofits.
Is that not? I thought that someone had told me that.
It's not illegal, but it's stupid. I said it loud, didn't I?
Because I don't see anybody blacking that stuff out afterwards. So, your recommendation, with today's day and age, do you need to put it on a piece of paper?
But you asked us a question before. So, Claudia, let's brainstorm right now. If you were a new business, what do we have available? Because this will answer his question. We have a retail terminal if you have a place where people will come and take your credit cards. What else can we offer them?
We also have, for example, for something like that, and you see something like that in fundraisings a lot. Well, we have apps that you can do that through your phone. All you have to do is download our app, and you can just get your run your credit card transaction there.
Right,
you
like for a church or something.
You have mobile applications, which it's kind of like the Square. They plug the swiper into your phone, and you can capture the credit cards, and it's swiped.
Yeah,
which brings
you down a
percentage, right? Yes. Because I understand that the price of directly from Visa, MasterCard, Discover, and American Express is called interchange, but also depends how you process the transaction, that it falls on different levels of the interchange or the list of the cards that are out there. So if you are an organization and you have the capabilities to capture payments on a mobile device, swiping it, you can get a debit card that is going to cost you a percent to a percent and a half less than it will cost you regular, in the environment today.
Excellent.
So again, if you were if you were a nonprofit and instead of sending these things out, send it out and say, go to our website. They have a website. We have a donate now button that we could put on, and literally it's less than $10 a month to have something like that for a nonprofit. And the rates are very good because it's set up specifically
for my last fundraising, because I'm also very involved with nonprofits. I actually had a wireless terminal, and we started doing like a live auction right there. I was able to capture every single of those payments in the while people were having dinner. So I, number one, as an organization, made sure I got the money, and I got the money right there.
Yeah.
I didn't get I'm going to get 10,000, and then you never see the person. You say you're going to get 10,000, I have to.
So what we're going to do is we're going to take another break. What I want to come back to is I want to talk about more safety aspects for businesses and what they should be doing and shouldn't be doing, and that. So we're going to take a few minutes break. You're here with the Entrepreneur Hour.
The Entrepreneurial Hour is sponsored by the Miramar Pembroke Pines Regional Chamber of Commerce, the Weston Florida Chamber of Commerce, and the Pembroke Park West Park Chamber of Commerce.
Unilatina International College with campus in Miramar, Florida is a boutique college with focus on entrepreneurship. UIC offers associate and bachelor degree programs in business, tourism, and communications and media. Associate degree students develop their business plan while studying at UIC. Dream, learn, and grow. Join now our business incubator. Learn more at unilatina.edu or call 954-607-4344.
The Entrepreneurial Hour, shining light on the Tri-Chamber members.
And we're back. It has been a long conversation and a good conversation on merchant services. So let's talk about for a business. And I want to talk about safety because we briefly talked about it in the last segment about putting credit card information on pieces of paper to send to your office. So for me, looking at our office, we changed a lot of things over the last 7 years to really, one, not have a headache. Our biggest concern, because I see it with nonprofits across the country, getting sued from people because they did not properly take care of all
either
these
identity
credit cards,
or their identity or all that. Yeah.
And so they've left all these papers out. And I still see them every now and then as we're going through old files from members that have been with us 10, 15 years. It'll have their credit card information.
Yeah.
So for us, and I'm just going to ask if this is some of the proper things, we don't take credit cards on paper at all. You know, one, we try to get everything either swiped or done on the internet by the individual themselves. But it's so funny because many people believe that in our system it says hold your credit card information. It's not. We don't hold it. Our vendor does out in with Chamber Master. And so
I think they're with Authorize.net.
I think something like that. I'm not sure who they're with. But
which is a huge company owned by CyberSource. So they're in good shoes with that. Yeah.
But for us, the reason why we did that is that we didn't want to hold on to anyone's credit card information. So in our office, we are clean of any credit card information for the last, I'm going to say 5 years because it took us about 2 years to get through it. But I still see, it's so funny because I will walk into people's office and I'm seeing notes jotted down. Oh. And what's the liability for these individuals?
Complete.
As they go through, and does it take the chance? So say I'm a representative from Visa, and I walk in and I start seeing this stuff laying around. Am I going to lose? Do I have a potential? Or do I come higher risk?
Yeah. Oh yeah, there's a penalty, and it starts at $20,000, and that doesn't count the expense of the investigation. Because as a merchant, you get to pay for that too. They have a way to know where the breach came in. And as a merchant, if they identified that it was you can get out of you go out of business.
Yeah,
wow. They can put you out of business.
We've seen restaurants go out of business because. So my husband Dave is here. He's my partner in life, but he's also does IT. This company, do you remember we were in Breckenridge one time, used our credit card, and within 3 days we got a call from USAA about one of our credit cards being used for like $700 in Target in North Carolina. And then eventually, tell them how that happened. Remember, it was like some firewall or updating their software?
Well, actually, in restaurants, there is in that industry, you can buy portable swipers on the black market, and they can scan your information and then they can turn around and sell it. Now with the new chip card, that becomes much more difficult. because of the tokenization of the transaction. It's a one-time transaction code.
The points of sales, though, everybody has a firewall because they're all going through the. And what did we find out with that? We actually went back to find out what the heck happened with our credit card, because I'm in merchant services. I thought maybe this is a good opportunity for me to get this customer. He didn't want to pay for his security upgrades or something.
Exactly. He was offered a commercialized firewall from a third party, which could have prevented it. The liability that he ended up taking, which basically
was
just
about
put him
$170,000 that he owed because it had gone on for about a week. Somebody just sat outside of his place in a vehicle with a
wireless
scanner and just took down credit cards and then resold them like within seconds. Got them.
So over the last couple of years, we've been hearing about Target and all these others having their databases breached with all this credit card information, things of that nature. Using a system like yours, though, if I'm the merchant, I have Bob's grocery store, I'm not keeping that information.
No,
that's going to you. And
in our systems, like if you have a standalone terminal or a gateway, the information of the transaction is truncated. Especially if you have the chip.
What's the word? What is truncated?
Truncated means that they see the X's and just see the last four numbers. So they're not see it. A hacker cannot see the whole credit card information, and that is crucial. And this is the reason why restaurants need to pay more attention, because there's restaurants with very expensive POS systems right now, and they don't want to spend the money to upgrade into the chip. But they don't realize, especially in South Florida, there's a lot of tourists. So if as a tourist you come and you see, because you can see in the receipt that it was swiped. It doesn't say chip reader and all the codes when you get the receipt back from the credit card. That's a potential for somebody to call the credit card and charge it back. And the fact that it was not done with a chip, when you call your merchant service and you call your chargeback department, you're not even allowed to fight that chargeback because you're not in compliance.
Yeah, the restaurant has all the liability. They end up paying for everything because of not conforming to the PCI compliance.
And it's not only that, but the restaurant software companies, Aloha, Micros, many of them out there, and some of the older ones, Adello. These guys were the big fish out there, and they were, I want to say they're pretty. Not only did they charge you a huge 20, 30, 40,000 setup fees for a few stations in one location, but then there was a monthly. And then all of a sudden, when PCI started and the internet and all that, they started to, as soon as they heard that there was a problem, they would send out, a patch?
Yes, download a patch, like your computer gets one, and it's an attempt to secure the process, how the system does the actual process of the transaction.
And then what happened is that the restaurant doesn't want to pay that $29 to upload that thing because they think it's another way for them to make money. And guess what? One or two patches later, they're just completely naked standing there.
Wow.
Because they have security just completely, because every day, what's the new mousetrap? It's like as soon as they do one thing to secure us, somebody finds something else to make us vulnerable.
Yeah, security is a dynamic or ongoing changing situation. There's always going to be somebody out there that their life's goal is to penetrate the encryption system in order to sell the information. They make money. A lot of old Eastern European countries, that's their life. I mean, that's how they make their living, is by finding ways to get around the security. And that's why security is usually updated at least once a month on most computers. And you get same thing with cell phones. They're getting you see more updates with those also, because somebody has found a way to get around the encryption or the security of the transaction process.
So we think we know this is all with software, internet, obviously, making sure your firewall is very secure. But I have a little story about terminals. Within the last 6 months, we sold a system to a medical practice, and one day I got a call at like 7 o'clock in the morning, and the frantic business manager saying that they got charged somebody did a $4,600 chargeback that just hit their account, and it just got taken. And we were like, what? She goes, I never even processed that amount of money. Well, we had to kind of get in there and freeze everything, redo the account, redo a lot of things. And we had it researched. We found out that they had a cleaning crew that came in at night, and somebody put their own card in and just gave themselves a credit for $4,600. And how did that happen? Well, I'll be honest. I'm sure it was between them and me and anybody else. But every terminal has a passcode on it, and if you don't know your passcode and you don't make sure that the passcode is in effect,
that's usually that sticker that everybody prints out on their little label maker and put it on there so they don't forget it.
Exactly. So, it's right there. Just same thing as computer password.
And the problem is that I think that is something that made me extremely aware today. I never really thought that someone would go in there, but see, again, you think that your credit card terminal is in good shape and nobody can go in and hack into it because whatever, and then something like that happens. So anybody that has a credit card terminal, make sure you call your credit card company, find out what the password is, and keep it password protected.
So the other question I have is, because we live in South Florida, and you're seeing on the news all the time we see on the news that people lose information at the gas pump and inside at the terminals inside gas stations primarily, or small little bodegas. What could you tell our people, other than, for me, when I'm getting gas, the first 5 minutes is me like yanking on the thing. I look like a jerk out there going, everybody's like going, what's going on? I'm like, not getting me today.
Yes, me too.
But I see this happen all the time. I know the stores probably have a policy for them to be checked on a regular basis and stuff, but what would you recommend in a store? Because I see, you see them always having two guys up there and the one guy's trying to switch things around. What would your recommendation be to our listeners on that?
You notice that most major gas stations, the scanners they have for the credit card, they have a red tape on them, and that's to signify that it is a secure system. There's a labeling, okay? So that is one thing to look at. With small stores that don't have basically any kind of, like on an ATM machine, they can put those card readers on there. You just have to look. You have to look and see, one, if they accept the chip card. That's the important thing. At least the customer is not liable for that.
And I think secondly, for me, it would be, don't use your debit card. Use a card that has a limit to it so that people just can't do a free-for-all about your credit, and that you've got a safety net under it. And I just want, Claudia, please talk to people about how they can reach out to you. They know how to reach me. So
absolutely. We are at www.processmps.com. Our local number is 954-938-2420. And we can be also email at info@processmps.com.
My name is Stephanie Cates. I also work at Merchant Processing Solutions. We are a local company here. All three of us are here locally. You don't call an 800 number. You call Claudia, Yamalet, or Stephanie, or Dave. And Robert, it has been a pleasure. Thank you so much for letting us talk about our business. As you can tell, we have no passion for it, right, Claudia?
It is my pleasure to have you guys on, especially with new Stephanie 2.0 out there. We're excited about that. I will leave it at that because I am getting looks from my producer. With that, hope to see everybody in the listen to us next week as we come back out next Tuesday at 10:30 right here at the Entrepreneurial Hour by Latina.
Robert, when's the next chamber breakfast?
And it's always the second Tuesday of the month.
For the Miramar. How about Weston?
Third Tuesday of the month.
Excellent. And please, everybody, don't forget about the Entrepreneurial Conference. It is going to be October 25th. Please go to unilatina.edu, the Entrepreneurial Hour Conference. And NET at night is also going to be 5:30 here this week, this Thursday at 5:30. Robert, you forgot to say that Unilatina is the host this week.
I was trying to get it out, but then I was getting that weird look. She wrote on the walls.
It's actually a wall board, so yes.
Oh,
so
my
anyway,
mother would
listen,
have beat
Unilatina is the place to be this Thursday. I'm going to be here, and you'll see the new 2.0. So looking forward to seeing you. Bye.
Thanks.
The Entrepreneurial Hour, shining light on the Tri-Chamber members.